Greetings, comic friends. We have a great Wednesday lineup this week for TGIW. Thank God it is Wednesday. A very, very good week. And, I've really been having what I would say are solid weeks lately where everything is just really strong. This is no exception. Everything was absolutely fantastic. There's also some additional things here that maybe I'll start with that. So Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I had picked up the first couple issues of that, and I had meant to add it to my poll, and evidently I forgot. So this week, the last issue came out, number 5, and I was like, number 5? That seems like I haven't read that far. And sure enough, I missed 3 and 4 because I didn't add it to my poll. Luckily, my shop had 3 and 4, so I was able to pick up the rest of this limited Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur 3, 4, and 5 all this week and read them. And man, this story is so good. This has a lot of, I think, something that the character of Lunella needed, and that is some social, personal growth. At the beginning of this, she gets these friends, I suppose. Though she doesn't really treat them as friends in the beginning, more like cohorts or sidekicks or people to boss around and tell what to do. But throughout the story, she becomes softer. She learns that, wait, these are people too, and they have their own, like, just because they're not super geniuses doesn't mean they aren't, deserving of respect and to be treated as such. And she grows a lot in this. I think that's kind of the best part about that series. The story itself was great. The plot, the villain and her weird plot was really cute to fit in with the age of the characters. But Lunella kind of growing like that and making actual friends, I thought was real important for that character. I really enjoyed it. So the stuff that was on my list, She-Hulk number 12. Evidently this is Legacy number 175. Who cares? The only number that people ever care about is number 1. Mostly. Unless you're like a real big, like Action 1000 or Marvel 1000 or whatever. But that aside, the book was very good. This is 2 stories. They added a backup story at the end for the 175th issue that was also kind of centered around friendship. It was nice. About She-Hulk having a book club or is that the main story? Am I getting them confused? I might be getting them confused. I don't think I'm getting them confused. But there is some stuff that happens that's important in that backstory, if where that happens I'm remembering correctly. Other than that, there's some real touching moments, like really touching moments, particularly with Reed and with Janet Van Dyne. But a lot of it was very good. Both stories were very good. The Armageddon game, the Alliance number 6. I think this is the last issue of the Alliance, and this is always the problem I have, is I want to say the things I liked about it, but I also don't want to give things away. Ninjas gonna be ninjas, I guess, is, ninjas gonna ninja, I suppose. Oroku's gonna Oroku. I don't know what else much to say. But Baxter is put in a pretty compromising position. and possibly more so depending on how something pans out, which is important, right? Because Baxter is the mayor, but he's also pulling strings and being evil, which needs to be exposed. And there are steps in here that start to expose that. Punisher number 11. Evidently, this is a limited series. I didn't know this was a 12-issue limited series, because at the end of this, it's like the limited series to be concluded next issue. I mean, I didn't think that Frank was going to be this hand, the what do I call him, like whatever, the beast, for forever. But I didn't know it was like that's the story. And this is done. But yeah, things are definitely coming to a head. I figured like 12 was going to be the end of this like sort of main arc, but evidently it's the end of this whole story and this whole run. But Frank is like, I'm done with this stuff. I just want to enjoy my life with my resurrected wife. In here is no different than other more recent issues where it kind of gives like flashbacks from Maria's perspective and what it was like to live with Frank after he had come back from the war, which wasn't great. He was he was just kind of gone, which is understandable, but it was very, very difficult for her. There is also some Punisher lore that's added here, that's retroactively added here, which I think is interesting. Also, Maria decides to look more into Frank's past, the time that she was dead. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say. So she learns a little bit about who the Punisher is. And obviously it's not pretty. Also, a lot of people are after him. Cap's there. Cap, Moon Knight, Black Widow, and Doctor Strange are all coming directly for him. And he is able to fend them off. Crazy. Let's see. So I did pick up a number 1 of a limited series, which, again, I am trying to avoid. But there are exceptions. And this one, Warlock Rebirth number 1, had to be one of those exceptions. I love Warlock. I love the Infinity Gems. I love the Infinity Watch. All that stuff. So I had to pick this up. I also had to pick up this cover with Howard the Duck with the Infinity Gauntlet. It is absolutely amazing. It is not representative of what is going on in the book in any way. But evidently 50 years of Howard the Duck. That's nuts. But this cover is so great. Even if I wasn't reading this miniseries, I might have picked this cover up. So there is a new character that's introduced here, which I'm sure a lot of you have known. It's kind of been on the radar for a little while now. I'm curious to see where that goes. It's an interesting idea. I'd like to know where she comes from. My prediction is that this is like some sort of contingency that Adam himself created, but he doesn't remember or doesn't recognize it. I mean, after you die and get resurrected so many times, some things start to slip. From personal experience, I can tell you that. But it was very good. I'm looking forward to it. Another mini that I'm continuing with is Red Goblin number 3. Like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I read the first couple issues and meant to add it to my poll. I forgot, but luckily caught this one on issue 3 on the shelf. I'm like, oh yeah, I need that, and grabbed it, and then actually did go ahead and add it to my poll. I really like this book. I like this a lot more than I thought. When I read number 1, I was like, I'll get this number 1. We'll kind of see. And I was like, this is kind of better than it should be. I'll try out number 2. And I read number 2, like, no, this is like legit good. I really, really like this book. And with number 3, that my opinion has not changed. I think it's a really interesting story around Normie. Him getting a symbiote, which seems like This is stupid. Little Normie Osborn getting a symbiote. Like, it's really good. It's really good. I am very, very surprised. Um, will this Red Goblin character stick around? I don't know. I have a hard time believing that they'll let Normie Osborn run around with this, a child run around with a very, very dangerous thing like a symbiote. But for now, in this adventure he's having, it's great and I love it. House of Slaughter number 14. Jace, is it Jace? Jace Boucher is wanting to get back this kid that he lost to the butchers, and he goes to someone that he can trust for help in getting this kid back. As he, the ongoing story is he wants to save this kid from having to basically go through what he went through and get him back. And lastly, Amazing Spider-Man number 24. So Spidey is back to the normal universe, and he's trying to get back to the previous one to help out MJ. He's in a hurry because I think he's realized that time moves differently there. So he's like, I have to get back really quick. So like he breaks into the Fantastic Four's place and is like, I need help. And they're like, whoa. Let's talk about this. Like even more so like, come on, Fantastic Four, you guys are superheroes. You know how this works. Sometimes like stuff needs to get done quick. There's no time to sit around a campfire and chit chat. Let's go. I mean, and also it's Spider-Man, right? Like, come on. If there's somebody the Fantastic Four can trust, it's freaking Spider-Man. He has science background. He's a good guy. All this, that kind of bothered me, but whatever. I get it. Anyway, long story short, he eventually gets back to this other reality, dimension, or whatever it is, and sure enough, a lot of time has passed, and you can probably expect what he finds. Given what we know about the current day state of Spider-Man's life, Peter's life, and he's like, oh, this is weird. So everybody's like, this is weird because it's weird. But yeah, I think that's kind of where we go with that one. There's nothing that's really crazy unexpected. He ends up having to go to Norman for help because he's the only one that will like just do this for me. So Norman helps him to get back. But there are no real big surprises there because I think, the MJ being with this guy and having semi-grown kids was, exposed before this arc begins. This arc is just telling the story of why that happened, and that's why it happened. Kind of knew that's going to happen at this point. But that's everything. The week was real solid. Even with adding the 3 issues of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I kept it at 10, which is great. Without those, it would have been 7, which would have been fine. But 10, this is kind of making up for some lost issues over the past few months because I missed all those. I'm real glad that I did realize that and finish reading it. It was so good. I highly recommend if you have any interest in Moon Girl at all. This was I think a must-read story for her. And I'm excited to see where Warlock Rebirth goes. I was sad that Howard the Duck was not involved in it. I wasn't expecting him to be, but it would have been fun. But that cover is banging. So that is it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your big hits for this week were and what you thought were the best reads. I'm curious to know. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to make yours Titan. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.